Hello students, this is Dr. S.R. Dandote working as Assistant Professor in Sanjeevani Engineering College, Kopargaon. I welcome you to this second lecture on ultrasonics, in which we are going to discuss about some applications. So at the end of this lecture, you will be able to understand different applications of ultrasonic waves, which are in general useful in engineering as well as industrial fields. The applications are like the flaw detection, which is called as a non-destructive type of testing, cavitation, measurement of thickness, as well as echo sounding and echo signaling. So before we go into the details of these applications, let us see briefly the discussion which was held in the previous lecture. In previous video, we have seen the what ultrasonic waves are, how they are produced, mainly by using two types of methods, that is piezoelectric and magnetostriction method. So ultrasonic waves, similar to light waves, can be easily refracted, as well as they can be easily focused. So as ultrasonic waves are high frequency waves, means they are of short wavelength. So ultrasonic waves can be easily transmitted through different media like air, water, as well as solids such as steel. And this particular property of ultrasonic waves makes them useful in different fields and for different purposes like flaw detection, cavitation, thickness measurement, as well as sonar, that is echo sounding and echo signaling. Now let us see one by one these different applications. The first one is the flaw detection, which is considered as non-destructive type of testing. So flaw is like presence of defect, cavities, cracks, or some imperfections like layering imperfections. So these flaws can be easily detected by means of this ultrasonic technique. As we know that the presence of the flaw causes its effect on the strength of the material. However, the strength of the material play a very important role in engineering as well as industrial area. So whether the given sample is with or without flaw, that can be easily tested using ultrasonic technique, and it is considered as of NDT type because without changing any physical or chemical properties of the material, the testing is possible. Here you can see the block diagram of the device which is used for ultrasonic, which is used for flaw detection, and it is called as ultrasonic inspectoscope. So it mainly consists of the parts like CRO, which stands for cathode ray oscilloscope, then ultrasonic generator. This is the sample or the unit which is to be tested for flaw, then amplifier. The ultrasonic waves are generated by the source and are made to pass through the unit under the test. So three types of the outputs are possible from the sample. One, the waves will be reflected directly from the surface of the material, that is generated by MS. Now if the flaw is present in the material, then that flaw itself will produce one type of wave. And third possible wave is produced from the this bottom surface, that is back wall of the sample, and these different waves are collected by this receiving transducer, and the waves are suitably amplified and given to the CRO. Now what CRO does? It converts this input into visible signal. That means on the screen of the CRO some peaks are produced. Now depending upon the presence or absence of the flaw in the sample, these two types of outputs are possible. In this first type of output, only two peaks are present. That means one is MS, means material surface, and other is BW, that is produced from back wall of the material. So there is no intermediary peak present over here. It clearly indicates that this unit, this sample, is completely free from flaw. There is no flaw and the material is quite okay. But if the output seen or produced on the screen is of this type, there are 3 peaks you can see. This first is MS, last is this BW, but this one middle peak is present. Now this middle peak is what for? Surely it is for flaw. If any flaw is present, definitely that operator will find this intermediary peak. So if such type of output is produced, it clearly indicates that the given sample is associated with certain flaw. So this way the flaw detection takes place. Not only that, the position of this particular peak on this CRO enables the measurement of or finding out exact location of the flaw inside that sample. This is possible with the help of certain calculations. So this way, without causing any damage to the sample, detection of flaw is possible. Hence it is highly advantageous, or it is highly superior in comparison with other detection techniques. Here you can see some sample images, how on spot or how on site detection is possible. Now let us see some advantages of this NDT. It is as ultrasonic waves are high frequency waves, they have high penetrating power because of high energy, and that allows the technique to detect the flaws which are located at the deeper part of the sample. The technique is highly sensitive, and hence it permits the detection of extremely small flaws which may be present in the sample. In many cases, only one surface needs to be accessible. Greater accuracy is another advantage of this particular flaw detection technique. It has capability of estimating size, orientation, shape as well as nature of the defects. The technique is quite non-hazardous. The persons working to that particular persons working nearby this ultrasonic inspectoscope, or they will have no harm, or there will be no effect on the equipment as well as the material which are in the vicinity. It is quite, the instrument is portable and the entire system is highly automated. It provides immediate results. That is also one good advantage. So as the results are produced, it is possible to take on spot decision about the post processing. So these are the advantages of flaw detection as a NDT. The next application is cavitation. Cavitation is broadly considered as formation of bubbles, their growth and implosion. So what happens when ultrasonic waves, means having high frequency waves, are passed through certain aqueous solution, then bubbles or cavities are created. So as a normal process, these bubbles grow in size and further they undergo implosion. So once the bubbles are imploded, they result into formation of microjets, and these microjets are once the microjets are formed, these microjets are further highly useful for cleaning or emulsification processes. Now let us see how this exact formation of microjet takes place. So in this diagram you can see this is the say container consisting aqueous solution along with the ultrasonic generator. So once high frequency ultrasonic waves are produced, these such cavities or bubbles will be created, and these bubbles, this shows the growing of the bubbles. This is normal process. The same time, what happens, a strong inward pull is created on the bubbles. So this inward pull or inward force is created because of the absorption of gaseous materials or vapors present in the solution itself, or this absorption may take place at the surface. So because of this strong inward pull, these bubbles or cavities undergo implosion. These are the steps which are involved in the implosion. A very strong shock wave will be produced due to strong inward pull. The high energy, temperature and pressure will be created inside this, and because of that the walls of the bubble will be associated with high speed, and that implodes the bubble, or it explodes. It implodes, which is opposite to the explosion. So due to implosion, such tiny fragments like such small jets are produced, which are associated with high energy, temperature as well as pressure. So this is the jet formation through cavitation process. So once these jets are formed, these jets are further useful for ultrasonic cleaning and emulsification processes. So let us see what is this too. In ultrasonic cleaning, the gentle cleaning of the substrates is possible. Suppose we have this part of machine and it is highly contaminated by the materials like dirt, grease, oil, some polishing compounds, and it may not be removed by normal cleaning agents. Now, how to clean this gently? We can go for this ultrasonic cleaning, and for that purpose this device is used. It consists of one tank which consists some aqueous solution inside it and ultrasonic generator also. Now the part of the machinery which is to be cleaned is immersed inside it and ultrasonic vibrations are started. So because of that, jets will be created, and as we know that jets have high energy, temperature and pressure, these microjets are capable to reach up to the depth of that contaminated part of that machinery, and due to these jets are capable to separate that hard contaminants easily from the substrate, and this way the cleaning takes place. So this is what ultrasonic cleaning. Now in ultrasonic emulsification, there is a formation of quite homogeneous mixture of two or more immiscible liquids. So basically we should try to understand how these liquids remain separate. Here in this diagram you can see there are two liquids and they are separated from each other. So the cause is density, no doubt, but if we go into the deeper reason, it is the main reason that separates the two liquids is interfacial tension. Suppose in this liquid the molecules which are present at the surface towards another liquid, they are strongly attracted by other molecules of the same material. Same thing happens with this liquid also. So that is called as interfacial tension. So due to the presence of this interfacial tension, these two liquids cannot be homogeneously mixed. Now if such a mixture is exposed to ultrasonic vibrations, suppose in this container that mixture is taken and here we have ultrasonic transducer. So high frequency ultrasonic waves will be generated that will result into cavitation or further into jet formation, and these highly energetic jets associated with high temperature and pressure are capable of breaking that interfacial tension. So once that interfacial tension is broken, it results into such homogeneous mixture. Now this cavitation is useful for emulsification, through which the materials like metal alloys, polishes, paints, some pharmaceutical products or food products can be produced, which are quite homogeneous in nature. So this is the use of cavitation technique for cleaning as well as emulsification. The next application is measurement of gauge. So gauge measurement, particularly thickness measurement, we will be talking about. So ultrasonic waves are used for this purpose as once again in the form of non-destructive testing. So dislike the techniques which are used for thickness measurement using the devices like micrometer, screw gauge or vernier caliper, this ultrasonic technique offers the thickness measurement just through access from only one side, and this is the greatest advantage of this technique. So it uses the probe which is programmed with the ultrasonic velocity through the sample through which the waves are to be passed. The materials for which the thickness can be measured using this ultrasonic technique are like metals, composites, plastics, ceramic, glass, fiberglass. But the materials for which we cannot use the ultrasonic technique due to the poor transmission capacity of the materials for high frequency waves, and the materials are like wood, paper, concrete, as well as foam products. Now let us see how exactly the thickness can be measured. Suppose this is the sample and it has thickness T, and this is the probe which produces ultrasonic waves. So as I told you earlier, this probe is programmed with ultrasonic velocity with which ultrasonic waves can be passed through this sample. Now once when the ultrasonic waves are generated, they will pass through the sample, will cover the thickness T, and once again same distance will be covered when they are reflected from this bottom of this sample. That means the waves before received back will cover the 2 times the thickness. Now we'll go for the same formula for velocity, which is in general distance upon time, but during the time interval between transmitting and receiving the signal, the waves cover the distance twice, means 2 times thickness divided by time. So time interval can be measured on computer easily, and velocity is provided. So using the formula, by rearranging that earlier stated formula, we'll get it for thickness as T is equal to velocity into time upon 2. So this simple formula enables the thickness measurement using this ultrasonic technique. Now the next application is echo sounding and echo signaling. As we know that echo is resounding produced due to reflection of the sound. Now this simple reflection technique is used in sonar. So what happens, ultrasonic waves have very small wavelengths, and due to that they become highly directional and are not absorbed so strongly by water, and due to that these ultrasonic waves are useful in this particular echo sounding and echo signaling application. The time, by measuring the time interval between sending and receiving the signal back and the velocity of the ultrasonic waves through the medium, easily the any say obstacle, if it is there, that can be easily located. So this is the technique called as echo sounding, which is highly useful in sonar, which stands for sound navigation and ranging. So again, sonar itself has its many purposes. One of the purposes is measurement of depth of sea. So as you can see in this diagram, D is the depth of the sea, suppose, and here it has a transmitter and this is detector, or it captures the signal which comes back after reflection. So the time interval between transmitting and receiving the signal back can be easily measured, during which it covers the distance twice, and hence the formula is depth of sea is equal to velocity into time interval between incident and reflected sound divided by 2. So apart from depth of sea measurement, the sonar is used for detecting icebergs, submarines and other objects in sea. It is also helpful to detect, track and destroy enemy ships and submarines. It is useful to detect and destroy enemy underwater mines. It is used to communicate using underwater sound as a medium. It is used to navigate under ice, as well as it is useful for safe navigation in shallow water. So these are some uses of sonar using sound, using reflection and means using the echo concept, echo signaling and echo sounding. So this way in this lecture we have seen how ultrasonic waves are useful for different purposes. For sonar they are used, how these are used for thickness measurement, for cavitation, which is further useful for the ultrasonic cleaning as well as emulsification, and use of ultrasonic waves to detect flaws which may be there in the materials. So this is about ultrasonics. Thank you. Wish you happy learning.